what's that motivation? One, for payroll, because you said it's too long to type. So maybe you could say it right. And how did you develop payroll as life?
It really comes from me, right? Again, I fell into payroll. It wasn't something you can't study for it. What you can, but you know what I mean. You don't go to school and say, I want to be a payroll manager,
Yep.
global payroll director, or something like that. But if you really think about it, and I had this conversation with the CEO of a global payroll company, it's the most pivotal role of in any company is if you mess up payroll, your
Mm-hmm.
workers will stop.
Mm-hmm.
The workers, they won't want to work, they won't want to be there, they won't trust you. If you mess up payroll, it's a huge problem. And it's likely the number one expense a company has, just getting people paid. With all the money that they have to give to the employees, the taxes, all the different things that they have to, it's the number one expense. Yet, I, as someone who worked a year in HR and prior to that, 3 years as a loss prevention officer, was responsible for payroll at a company. So I look at it like this, and this is the conversation the CEO of that company and me had. It's if you want to be an accountant, you have to take a huge amount of tests. I think there's a
Yeah.
7-part CPA test.
Yep.
And that's not necessarily to pay all of your workers. That is to do a lot of different other functions. I don't want to go into acting like I know what that.
Yeah. No
We
doubt.
don't either.
No doubt.
I don't want to simplify it. They just pay bills.
Yeah, we're not downplaying finance and accounting. No, by
Correct.
no
Correct.
means. They are partners.
They do a
Yep.
lot of things that I don't even understand at this point. But
Absolutely. Way
but
smarter than
payroll,
us.
you don't have to do any of that. And I feel like there should be something that should be its own kind of course. There's a
Yes.
think about all the things that can go wrong.
Yep.
Taxes could go wrong. Your company could get their bank accounts garnished. There could be a lien on the company. Your employees could walk out completely and stop all of your operations right then on the
Yep.
spot because they're not getting paid. The backlash that you can suffer from that, the penalties, interest, and all these things that can happen because you don't have your payroll processed by someone who's has a certification. And if you do have a certification, there's a CPP, which is a wonderful certification to get in the payroll world. But it's not, people know what a CPA is, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I went to somebody and said, yeah, I'm a CPP, which I'm not, I want to take that test this year.
Yeah.
But if I went to somebody and say I'm a CPP, they're going to say, well,
What's that?
what's that?
I've had people guess, oh, is that certified a professional? And I'm like, what?
Exactly.
No, yeah, no.
So and again, like I just feel like if you have that much of an impact on a company of their bottom line, you have access to bank accounts. Like you
Yes.
have access to so many different things here. Personal data, just the things that could go wrong in payroll
Mm-hmm.
are immense. It could bring a company down.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy that worked at Best Buy with 1 year of HR experience could be leading that team. And I'm not
That's
saying
right.
anything about the company that allowed me to do it. They taught me the ways that I needed to.
That's awesome.
They taught me how to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Myself and my boss at that time sat down for months and just ironed out a process. And it worked. But if you think about it, again, I shouldn't have been doing payroll for that at that company based on everything that could go wrong.
Right.
Like I think about that. Would I hire myself back then into like me right now, if they said, hey, listen, we need a payroll person to manage US payroll for 38 states or however many states we were in, I don't remember, but here's this person. He was scanning he was scanning all of our paper documents for about 6 months of this whole time he was here into a Google folder, which was
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
Doesn't know Excel. At that time, I hadn't even finished my degree. I was very green. Yeah, I wouldn't hire me now at that point. But the people there saw something in me. They saw
Thank
that
God.
hunger that I had.
Yeah.
Thank God. You know, their names: Joni Sackett, Michelle White, and Food Sharma.
Look at
Uh,
that. That's love
those
right
are,
there. You get your
yeah,
flowers
those
today,
are
ladies. That's what's
they,
up.
they deserve their flowers. They deserve their
That's what's
flowers.
up.
They gave me a shot, and today I'm here as head of global payroll at a big company of 5,000 employees.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, it's a big
Congrats, man.
company. We're in
That's
a
amazing.
lot of countries. Yeah, they gave me that opportunity. So maybe I'm wrong in saying I wouldn't hire myself back then, but
No, but we get it. And look, back what it, again, we always say it on the show, payroll's underserved and we're just getting to the table. We're just
yes,
getting to the table. You were just
Yeah,
getting that seat and
yeah.
it
You're
they
absolutely
didn't
right.
think of it. They didn't think of it back then as a big deal.
well, yeah,
Well,
I I remember my wife always busting my chops like, "What? I didn't know cutting checks was a career." So,
I,
yeah,
I don't even know how sometimes how to explain it to my mom. My mom is of Puerto Rican descent. She's never learned how to properly speak English, even though she's been here for 45 years.
yep.
But like she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Payroll. How do you?" I don't. And I try to explain. I'm like, "I'm responsible for paying people." And she's like, "Well, what else do you do?" And I'm like, "You gotta
That's
pay."
a
That's
whole
it.
job. That's a
Yeah.
whole
yeah,
And she's like, well, when you give them their money, what do you do then? I'm like,
yeah.
you make sure you paid them right. She was like, "Well, why wouldn't you have paid them?" And I'm like,
I love
"It's
it.
not that." Right? And
I-
That's so good.
it's my mom making me feel like I have the best job in the world. But
Yep. Yep.
See,
Absolutely.
Payroll's life
that's
came from the just what it did for me. Like it changed my
yeah,
life.
Ah,
I
okay.
I own a house. I never thought that to be
Congrats.
possible
God
growing up.
bless, man. Yep.
Grew up in Bushwick, Brooklyn, and
Nice.
I own a house. I have a family. I have a 4-year-old son,
God bless.
wife. I have a dog. I have a cat.
The
All these things just
American
kind of,
dream, right? You're living the
yeah,
American dream.
for sure.
Yep.
And all these things came from me having a job in the payroll world. And as I thought about it, and I've touched the lives of everyone that I've ever paid.
yeah.
And that's something that weighs heavy on me as I go through whatever process and payroll I'm doing, is trying to be as accurate as possible because you never know who needs that paycheck.
You're right. You're right.
That's right.
I think it's a staggering number of 60% of Americans are, and I could be wrong about the percentage, either 40 or 60, I think it's 60, are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah,
Oh,
60.
heck
You're
yeah.
right. 60.
60.
It's 60,
Yeah.
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 And for somebody in payroll to right now responsible for 5,000 employees, but I through my hands I process millions and millions of dollars of payroll.
Yep.
I
Yep.
think at one time the highest payroll I processed was when a company that I was working with went public, and that payroll by itself was $50 million or something like that. It might have been
50.
more. Um,
Wow.
it probably was more now that I think about it. But it's the lives that that payroll people touch. You never know. Every rent check, every
Yeah.
car payment, every tuition payment, every New York Yankees shirt,
Yes.
all of
Yeah.
those, anything,
Yep.
it all has to do with the paycheck that you get, that you earn, that you
Yep.
work for. And for me to be the catalyst of you being able to provide for your family, provide something for yourself, whatever it is, it just, to me, it was like, that's just such a powerful thing. And so payroll is
Yeah.
life just came to me, and I just said, payroll is life, because it is. And it's
You're
what
right.
made me what I am
I
today.
love
It's
it.
what gave me all these gifts that, I have. And payroll is life, how
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I
would
love
I
you
it.
like
work
that.
for
I
free?
like that.
That's the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Yep.
You you
And
you spoke to a lot of stuff
for real.
about how, and it's something that I think Brian and I said a couple of shows ago, how much power we have as payroll people. Because to your point, we can if we don't have the integrity, we can purposely mess up somebody's pay to impact ourselves in a egregious way.
Yep.
And even if it's not done in an egregious manner, we could impact someone's livelihood. And there's been so many times, unfortunately, we're going to make mistakes in payroll, but there's been plenty of times I've heard of mistakes, or the employee made a mistake, or the HR may have made a mistake or something like that. And this employee is on the phone crying because they don't know how they're going to get gas. They don't know how they're going to pay their rent, feed their kids. And it's so powerful. And payroll is life is an amazing statement. I know you and I spoke about some of the ideas you had behind that and stuff that I hope that you pursue. I really hope that you pursue, because I would love to see you do that. So I think that payroll, like Brian said, is very underserved. And I think right now, one of our associates, Christina Hagney at Valor Payroll Solutions, she has been advocating and really trying to champion payroll being listed as an industry on LinkedIn, because right now it's not currently listed as an industry.
Yeah, think about it. When you go apply for things, it says what industry you in.
Mm-hmm.
Payroll, but it's not an option.
Yeah,
because we can work in any industry, right? Like we service any industry. It's an industry it's B2B.
I look at it like this. It used to be that the HR job was data analyst, right? That's basically what they used to do before it became what it is today. And now it's one of the most integral functions of any company. And usually payroll sits either there or in finance or accounting. But it used to be just the personnel department where you get some paperwork and another, they probably fire you or something. But now it's much more. I feel like payroll is going to get there one day, and I can't wait. And I've been preaching about this for a while. For some companies to be the first one to really recognize all the true impact that payroll has on a company, and create a new role, which I would call a chief payroll officer role. That I think, and it may be something that, to your point, we work in every industry, no matter where, any job that you get, there's somebody behind the scenes.
Somebody with payroll there, yeah.
Correct. Until AI takes over. But, But it's, I think that role is extremely important, a chief payroll officer role, where somebody can come in and just understand all the complexities, obviously, of having been at different roles in the payroll cycle, and they can come in and really guide a company on where they need to be from that perspective. Because when a company goes public, they look at everything. They want to know exactly what they want to see, all your SOPs, make sure you got everything written down. They want you to prove that your payroll process is the way it is. They want to look at everything to make sure that you're ready to be a public company, right? Payroll is a big piece of that. And if they pay that much attention to it, it's for a reason. And you should pay attention to it, because the penalties that you can suffer because of it can be extreme, and it can bring a company. I mean,
they don't realize. Yeah, absolutely. They don't realize until I'll tell folks, I'm like, it's not a problem until it's a problem. Yeah. So if you can ignore it now, but you got to think about the risk you take for not being compliant, or for not doing this process this way or that way, for the million different reasons that we ask, hey, this is the way this should be done. So you guys made me think of a few things, right? You said something about, I could pay somebody in the same day in ADP. You and Walt are reckless with that stuff, man. You got to give people 2 days. Folks, do not listen to these guys. You got to it's 2 days for your customers, no matter how long it takes. I could do it in a day. Walt tells me all the time, I could do it in a day. He said the same thing. It's right. That's what I'm saying. It's an asterisk with what they're saying, folks. Do not listen to these reckless guys. Best practice is 3 days.
Not reckless, Brian.
It's
I know. I'm
it's
just
about
messing with you.
it's about like you said it earlier, mistakes happen in payroll, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the ability to pay somebody in the same day stops that person from having to wait to get their paycheck to
Oh yeah.
pay their rent and
Well, the
pay their
technology's there. Yeah.
exactly.
It's there
Exactly.
now. We have and you're right,
Correct.
ADP has the function to pay them instantly with the right tools. We can get it done instantly, and it's not a daily pay thing. So that's a
Correct.
whole nother separate conversation. Or what is it? Because daily pay is a brand, so we really should, and they killed it with that brand name, but wages on demand or something. I forget the
Something like
term
that.
for it,
Yeah. Wages
you
on
know.
demand. Yep.
And you
Well,
guys were
everything's
right,
on
by the
demand
way.
these days.
Yeah,
So it
for
makes
real.
sense.
For real. You guys were right, by the way. 60% of adults in America live paycheck to paycheck.
It's crazy.
As of January 23, down 4% from last year. So
Yeah.
we're making strides.
We're making we have some very competent payroll people out there. Yeah. It's just that number is just staggering to me.
Yes.
And again, think about it. You as a payroll person, the impact you have on 60% of the company you work for.
Yep.
If
Yeah.
you think about it that way.
Yeah. That's a really good nugget. Dropping nuggets today, buddy. All right. I got you. I got you.
Thank you for tuning in to It's About Payroll. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.